I know you gave the game ball to Mike on Sunday. I mean, how is he? Is he a different coach than he was, when he got here?
Not really. I think that's kind of what makes him who he is. Everyone grows and changes a little bit, but he's been the guy that throws the "it is what it is" and the iron sharpens iron and all those words from day one to now. And listen to a press conference that he does yesterday. Yesterday, I think he does it at noon, and I'm sure you guys feel the exact same way. So I think that's what makes him who he is he really doesn't change much.
What does that do for the players to have that sort of consistency?
It's just that, it's consistency, it's stability. You know what you're going to get.
And have you used any of those Tomlinisms in your vocabulary?
You can't help it sometimes, and then you don't think about it, you just say it, and then you're like, oh man, that sounds like Tomlin. So it is what it is, right?
Do you have a favorite one?
No, none of them.
And quarterbacks have dominated the NFL MVP in the last quarter century almost. But with Elliott and Ellis and Le'Veon this year, could you see a running back sort of bucking that trend?
Well, I think they deserve to be at least in the conversation, at least my guy. I know what Ezekiel's done and this and that, but I'll put my vote for 2-6 any day.
Ben, what atmosphere do you expect on Sunday?
Typical one down there, crazy, riled up. It's AFC North, it's us coming to town. Maybe not quite as crazy as it would have been if it was that initial 8:30, I think is what it was. But I still expect the fans to come out and it to be a typical Steelers-Bengals game.
Especially following up the playoff game from last year?
Yeah, just, typical. That feel every time you go there. It doesn't matter really, throw records out the window, what time of year it is, the time of the game, all those things. It's going to be a great atmosphere.
And there are a lot of things that go with Pac-Man, but how good of a corner is he?
Very good. A veteran guy. He's wily. He takes his chances. He gambles at times, but he also understands and concepts and reads things and does tape study and understands by alignment what could come and what could happen. So a very good corner.
How can the Bengals disrupt the pocket and interior with Atkins and those guys?
Well, that's where it starts with them, in my opinion, is their pass rush. Whether it's their ends getting up the field, they're real long. Dunlap and Johnson and Gino pushing the middle of the pile and Pecco and those guys. It's a really good front seven, and they get after it and make it hard to have time to sit back in the pocket to try and complete those balls.
Would Perfect be back? Is he a guy you kind of keep an eye on?
I keep an eye on all of them, truthfully. So that's how good they are on defense.
How does Perfect change their defense, though? What can they do with him that they can't do without him?
Well, he's a tough blitzer, tough run stopper, gets after the run and the pass, and you just have to know where he is. He takes his chances as well. He'll shoot gaps, and come up to try and stop runs. And also you saw last week or 2 weeks ago he gets interceptions as well. So you just have to be aware of where he is.
The first meeting was pretty tame. One in September, Montez did not play in that game. He's here instead of there. Do you anticipate, later in the year, they're sort of like this, y'all are their last shot, basically, to kind of keep their...
Well, I hope it doesn't it's not dirty. We expect a physical game. That's what we want to be, and we expect them to be the same way. We're not going to be a dirty team. We're going to go out and play football, play hard, play physical, not retaliate, and just play the game, this game the way it's supposed to be played. If there's a lot of nasty things going on, I guess we'll know why.
Does it feel like both teams have kind of moved on from that stuff from last year a little bit?
We have. I can't speak for them, but I know we've obviously we know what's happened. We know about the injuries. We know about some of the dirty type things, but we don't concern ourselves with that. We concern ourselves with trying to win a football game.
You were one of the first to say not your best game last week. What do you do to turn the page?
Talk about Cincinnati.
What's it like fourth quarter right now with this team, the way you guys have been able to run the ball, Rick Hubbard, Nix, they kind of know it's coming, but you're still able to do it?
Well, that's a positive. Being able to do when your quarterback's not having having a bad day at the office, and other guys are able to step up and make things happen. That's what a team's about. That's why it's the ultimate team sport. Guys step up for each other, and this time of year, whether it's elements, the weather, the conditions, injuries, whatever it might be, you've got to be able to have other facets of the offense step up and rise up. And so, like you said, bringing Hubbard, bringing Nix in, doing different kinds of things. In December and January type football, you've got to be able to make adjustments on the fly.
How much the Hubbard stuff work?
It's an extra lineman in there. He's a guy that gets after it. It creates a little bit of an issue when you have an outside linebacker. trying to go against an offensive lineman that we have lined up at tight end. So just an extra blocker. Then Rosie in there is another guy. Just it creates matchup problems, just like in the passing game situation when you have a wide receiver on a linebacker or a tight end on a safety, things like that. Usually it's to your advantage. Well, we can put an extra lineman on an outside linebacker. We have to count that as an advantage to us.
Is there a defensive counter for that?
Bring an extra D lineman in, taking safeties out, taking corners out, which then hopefully we can utilize the pass game, which they didn't do a lot of last week. They kind of left their smaller guys in the field at times. So if they bring big guys in, we'll try and throw it, maybe with Hubbard.
How much of a role do you see for DeMarcus outside of back in the slots?
Very well, sir.
DeMarcus.
We'll see. We're gonna have to see kind of what he's. We've seen a lot. He reminds me a lot of Levi, kind of a slot, little quick guy, but we'll see what he can do in this special team as well.
You're saying that Rosie brings a lot of energy to the huddle. He's talking smack to the other linebackers. What do you notice, or are you just too focused?
I see some of that. I'm kind of focused on what the play calls and this and that, but sometimes you can't help it. You hear linebackers and him going at it because those two guys are meeting in the hole. It's the old Oklahoma drill, where it's one-on-one in the hole and it's low man or the guy with the more want-to is going to win. So it's a nasty part of the job, but I think he embraces it and loves it, and especially when Le'Veon scored a touchdown walking in. There's a couple times you watch on film, I have my hands up literally before Le'Veon's even close to the goal line because it's Rosie, a linebacker in the end zone, and I count that as a win, and he proved that he could do that numerous times this last week.